One driver who, no fault to himself, is not going to be in the next round of the playoffs. It was a bad weekend to be a 48 car in NASCAR. Alex Bowman, his team is assessed a penalty for being too light. Too light. Did not make minimum weight after the race, and he is now not in the next round of the playoffs. Big shame, because that guy rose up, speaking of performances, in the playoffs.
He did. He showed up. I had some thoughts on this that I kind of wanted to just run through on the show.
Be my guest.
But I also want to, sort of pick a direction on them because I don't want to be unfair to Hendrick. So he got penalized for being too light, right? And just so everybody understands, maybe we'll set the table here first. The car gets weighed without the driver before and after the race. Now, I think that NASCAR has a bit of a tolerance on what they're allowed to do, or what they account for in terms of fluids and things like that. But they do put fuel back in the cars, so they weigh them full of fuel before and after the race. I think he was. Did somebody say maybe 17 pounds too light?
No, I believe it's more than 17 because 17 is the tolerance.
More than 17. Now, is there a potential? Were there some photos or something? A potential that a piece of ballast came out of the car on track?
So there was something that came when he jumped that curb and flew 4 tires in the air and then hit the wall. There was something that came off his car. Now, was it a piece of carbon or something of more weight? I think that was discussed.
Right. I feel like if it was ballast, NASCAR would have found it, and that there would also be a penalty for that.
Yes, 100%. I think that's why for Hendrick there was no appeal, because that was not, it turned out that was not a thing, right? It wasn't anything of weight.
So we don't think it was that ballast?
No.
Okay. So let me just run through something for you all. And this is what teams do and attempt to do regularly, some more than others, some more successfully than others. There is a lot of time between when you initially weigh the car before the race, push the car to pit road, driver buckles into the car, people have their hands on the car, people have access to the car, then you race the car, and then after the race, people have access to the car a little bit more limited, a little bit more strict, especially if you know you're getting inspected, but there's still people that have access to the car, pushing the car through the garage, and then weighed again. There's a lot of hands that touch the car. And these teams are very good at identifying knickknacks and things on the car and in the car that they can have in the car when they weigh it, come out of the car to be raced without, and then make it back into the car in time to get weighed the second time. Right? And so it's very interesting. It was interesting to me that they did not appeal this penalty, because it would not surprise me one bit if there was a process in place that just didn't get done on Hendrick's side, and that, or any team. I shouldn't, it's not unfair for me to even mention their name other than they're the ones that got DQ'd. It would not surprise me one bit if there was a 10-pound piece of something that is designed to be on the car when it gets initially weighed, come out of the car, not be on the car in the race, and then didn't make it back to the car for final weigh-in, which then resulted in them being light. I saw a lot of tweets and stuff and a lot of people asking, how did this happen? How does a car get lighter, right? And that's the reason I explained all that is because that's how, right? Because they want it to be lighter. They want it to be lighter in the race. The only way to do that is to remove things, put them back. It's sleight of hand. It is literally David Blaine, sleight of hand on pit road, before and after the race. I've witnessed it happen on teams that I've driven for. I've partaked in it myself.
I was gonna say, I was like I'm gonna let him go here himself, but if I gotta,
you're just gonna let me roll here. I've partaked in it myself. I've seen it happen. Every ounce matters at that level, especially with how close these cars are. Right, 10 pounds of weight is a couple hundredths of a second a lap in the simulator. Trust me. Right. and you're just talking about inches and inches and inches and feet, right, on the racetrack over the course of a run, and tire degradation and all of the things. So it's just that stuff. That's the racer and the race fan in me. I love that stuff. That's the stuff I want to share on this show. Yep. And it's no like denigration of Hendrick's character even, and to be honest with you, that may not even be what happened in this scenario. Who knows? It could have been something that flew off the car, and that weighed 10 or 15 or 20 pounds. But they
could have just cut it so close, Landon.
They could have just cut it so close.
Just cut it so close.
But
it just used more oil than usual.
But yeah, that stuff is so interesting to me, and it is real. So I don't care what any of those teams say in the media or publicly or whatever. Those car chiefs and crew chiefs and team members are every day looking for ways to shed weight for that car during the race and then get it back on the car in time to go over the scales.
Well, unfortunate for Alex and the 48 team because they were doing a great job. They were one of the highest performing cars, definitely the most points scored in the first round of the playoffs, and were doing a great job in the second round, and their playoff run comes to an end. But, if someone asked me, like, what do you feel like if you're Alex? And I was like, well, for him, he did what he was asked. He performed. It's like
he did a good job.
He did a great job in every race, and, found it and had done what was needed to get to the next round and have a chance to go fight for a championship. And unfortunately, it's a team sport, though. Not unfortunately, but it is a team sport. And he, they win and lose as a team. And this one, they lost. So let's just quickly run through some more stuff. We had a report from Jenna Fryer about a engineer at a team taking information and giving it to another team while still employed at a race team, even though they're in a contract year. We'll see where that goes. But hey, we just saw this happening in IndyCar, and it left to the FBI raiding Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. So
and F1 has had their fair share of these scandals. NASCAR is long overdue for a good old fashioned espionage scandal.
Interesting.
So I have the feeling that we will get to see quite a story in this one. That is going to involve some names that a lot of you have heard of and know, and that is I'm not rooting for it but by any means. I guess I just hyped it up like I'm shedding light on the next season of Game of Thrones. But tune in
Sunday
to,
night 8 p.m.
Yeah, the next season of NASCAR is that is descending upon us here. I don't think that the news cycle will slow down after the race season's over. Between the lawsuit and whatever's going on here, I think it's all going to be pretty interesting.